Shalom, more praise the how about Shemel Shah, double line to your positive GMS. This is I'm now Allah connection in the video. I was just in the midst of doing this video and halfway through the recorder shut off, so now I gotta do it again. But this is part 2 to the video going into taking no thought for tomorrow. So let's get right to let's go right back to the scripture so we can rehash it, if you will. Matthew chapter 6 verse 34. Take therefore no thought for the morrow. So don't take any thought for tomorrow. For the morrow or tomorrow shall take thought of the things of itself. So tomorrow is going to take thought of the things of itself. In other words, don't worry about tomorrow today. You'll worry about tomorrow when it comes. Those thoughts will be in your head when that day comes. Don't let those thoughts be in your head now. Don't let those worries, those cares, those troubles be a burden unto you. Don't worry about it. Why is that? Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Sufficient meaning enough. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof, meaning each day has its own evil. Each day has its own trouble. Each day has its own temptations. Why take thought of tomorrow today when you know each day has its own evils? If each day has its own evils and has its own temptations, then guess what? The current day does, so will the next day. So why worry about that today? Why take thought of tomorrow when today has its own evil? Today has its own temptation. Tomorrow take thought of itself. In other words, when tomorrow comes, then you'll take thought of the things of that day. Alright? This is Philippians 4 and 6. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication. So be careful for nothing. What does it mean, be careful for nothing? Let's see.
Strong's G 3309,
Merimnao. It says to be anxious. That's the Greek word for careful. Merimnao. To be anxious, to be troubled with cares. To care for, look out for a thing. To seek to promote one's interests, caring or providing for. So it means to be anxious, to be troubled with cares. When you go right here, Vine's Expository Dictionary, it says akin to A. Number 1 signifies to be anxious about, to have distracting care. See that? A. So number 1, talking about having like a distracting care or whatever. A distracting care. So that's really what it's referencing. Merimnao, that's the word there for careful. And it means to be anxious or to be troubled with care. And if you're troubled with something, it can distract you. So let's go back. Be careful for nothing. So don't be troubled with anything. But in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto the Most High. So we gotta let our requests be made known unto the Most High. Don't let it trouble you. Put your requests give you the Most High your request. As a matter of fact, real quick. Psalms chapter 55 verse 22. Cast thy burden upon Yahweh Bashim Shah, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. So all of those things we cast it upon the Lord in prayer. So let's go back. Philippians 4 and 6. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving let your requests be made known unto the Most High. And the peace the peace of the Most High, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Yahweh Shah. So the peace that we have in the Most High which passeth all understanding, that's going to keep our hearts and our minds through Yahweh Shah. So the peace in the Most High is what keeps us through Yahweh Shah. Okay? That's what keeps us. That's what causes us not to be anxious and troubled. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. So on those things that are true, honest, and just, that are pure and lovely, and that have good report. If there's any virtue in those things, and if any of those things be worthy of any praise, think on those things. So if there's anything worthy of praise or anything worthy of glory or highly regarded, and so obviously something that's spiritual, of course, that's what you think upon. Don't think upon, the troubles of this world. to be in trouble with care. Don't think upon those things. Okay? Psalm 73 verse 23. Nevertheless, I am continually with thee. Thou hast holden me by my right hand. So the Most High has guided us in righteousness. Thou shalt guide me with thy counsel, these words, and afterward receive me to glory. Whom have I in heaven but thee? And there is none upon the earth that I desire but thee. So everything is through Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, man. This is the book of Exodus chapter 16 verse 8. Now let's go. Now check this out. And Moses said, This shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For that the Lord heareth your murmurings which ye murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. So you're not even murmuring against us, you're murmuring against the Lord. So they're murmuring, talking among themselves, because they wanted something to eat. They were hungry. They were always complaining. Right? Now check this out. And they were desiring the things of Egypt, the leeks and all the other foods that they had in ancient Egypt. So it says, And Moses spake unto Aaron, saying unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before the Lord, for he hath heard your murmurings. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. Which you know, the clouds in the scriptures represent chariots, which the world ignorantly calls UFOs, which aren't any aliens in there. It's the angels. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, At evening ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your power. And it came to pass that at the even the quails came up and covered the camp in the morning, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. So it was dew all around about, dew, like early morning dew that's on grass. And the quails that came basically covered the camp, so it was quails all over the place. And when the dew that lay was going up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said unto one another, It is manna. For they wist not what it was, which manna means, what is it? So they didn't know what it was, so they said manna, which is, what is it? Means, what is it? And Moses said unto him, This is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating. So gather according to your eating. An omer for every man, which is a certain measuring unit.
Strong's H 6016. Omer.
Right? A dry measure of a tenth of an ephah, about 2 liters. Okay? Let me send real quick. Okay. So it says, This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded, which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of every man according to his eating, an omer for every man. According to the number of your persons, take ye every man for them which are in his tents. So you'll have an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons, how many people was dwelling in your tent when they were in the wilderness. So you have an omer for each person, right? And take it into your tents. That's how much you're going to gather. And the children of Israel did so and gathered, some more, some less. Some gathered more than others because they was in tents. And some had more people living in tents than others. So some gathered more manna. And when they didn't meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over. So when they had meet it with an omer, when they had measured it, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. So everyone gathered as much as they had needed. So when they did meet it with an omer, when they measured it, he that gathered much had nothing over. So those that gathered a lot didn't gather more than they should have. They gathered what was according to the amount necessary to the people living in their tent. And he that gathered little had no lack. And those that gathered little or gathered less, they didn't lack any, because they gathered according to the amount of people that was dwelling in the tent. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank, and Moses was wroth with them. Moses was angry with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun was waxed hot, it melted. The Sabbath observed. Or that's just what it says here. It's just going to the next part of the chapter. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. Remember, it's supposed to be 1 omer for a man. People came and gathered 2. So the rulers came to Moses. Like, Moses, this is what's going on here. They gathered more than they should. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Bake that which you will bake today, and seethe with that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. So tomorrow's the rest day, the Sabbath of the Lord. Bake what you're going to bake today. Seethe what you're going to seethe today. And that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. So that was left, you keep it to the morning. And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. So when it stayed until the morning, it didn't stink, it didn't melt, it didn't get destroyed. No worms came into it. And Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto Yahweh Shah. Today ye shall not find it in the field. So today the man is not going to be there on the Sabbath. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. So people went out to gather, but when they went out, they couldn't find any. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. So on the 6th day, he gave you bread for 2 days, bread for the 6th day, and then bread for the Sabbath day. Because you're not going to go out and gather on the Sabbath. You're supposed to rest, not supposed to go out and do any kind of work. I give you bread for 2 days on the Sabbath, on the 6th day, which that bread would be for the 6th day, and for the other day, which is Sabbath. So you got bread for 2 days. Abide day 6 and day 7 is Sabbath. And abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like coranda seed white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. Baby, 1 second. Now, you see I read the chapter down. What verse I stopped at? Verse 31. Now you go back to this point here. Now the point up here is verse 20. It says, and Moses, I'm starting verse 19, Exodus 16:19, and Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding, right, they hearkened not unto Moses, so they didn't listen. He said, leave none of it till the morning. Why? Why weren't you supposed to leave it till the morning? Because you're supposed to trust in the Lord for your daily bread. You're supposed to trust in the Lord to sustain you. You've been reading these scriptures, right? Isn't that what we've been stressed? Has been stressed in this lesson? You're supposed to trust upon the Lord to provide for you. So don't leave it until morning. The next day gonna come and you're gonna get the manna again. In other words, don't worry about leaving manna until the morning, because when the day comes, unless it's the Sabbath, the manna will be there for you to gather. So don't worry about it. Don't take no thoughts of tomorrow. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses. They didn't listen. But some of them left of it until the morning. Some of them left the manna until the morning, thinking, I'll just say this till tomorrow. And it bred worms and stank. In other words, it was rotten. And Moses was wroth with them. And they gathered every morning, every man according to his eating, and the sun waxed hot, it melted. So we got the point. Okay? It started to rot when they had saved man until the next day. Because when they saved man to the next day, that was an example of them doing what? Taking thoughts of tomorrow. You know? $1 ain't gonna take thought tomorrow. Tomorrow take thought of itself. So you know, with that, I'm gonna close. You know, just hope you brothers learn something. I'm gonna close and say, oh, praise you, how about you, how shot, double on, say, positive GMS. I hope you brothers learn something. Shalom.